Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is? Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And for those of you who say, Jason, I don't like these kind of videos, you saw the title of the video when you clicked on it. You know you got an informative video earlier today to go with it. So for those of you who do like these videos, if you guys would please click like down below, that would be greatly appreciated. But a lot of people have asked me to update this. They're like, Jason, Larry gave his side of the story. Could you talk about it? And I mean a bunch of people. You guys can go check through the comments and see for yourselves. I went and watched his video. It was very, very short. And here's where I'm going to go with this. And this is going to be kind of my rebuttal to a lot of people's comments. It doesn't matter if she's a bad person or not. Okay, I'm going to make that clear. It doesn't matter as far as Larry is concerned if his ex is a bad person or not. And that's the point that we need to understand with this. It's one thing maybe if she was an ex a long time ago and she's done him wrong and he says some mean things to her or something later. All right, that's understandable, right? We are talking about a situation in which evidence was recorded and he didn't deny that evidence. What people are going to say is that, well, we don't have signs of proof of whatever physical happened. Okay, fair enough. You've got two sides of a story. You got a he said, she said. And that's reasonably fair. But if we're talking about surmising what we do have, drawing the sort of person that he is and looking at what has been presented, and at no point did he actually apologize or show any remorse for the actual recording. Sorry, that's a problem. People say, well, what do you mean? That's normal. That isn't normal. And what you guys need to understand, it's not me. I'm not the biggest name out here even talking about it. Go look at a bunch of coaches. Look at the various coaches. I don't talk about children. I'm not talking about you 20-year-old kids and your peers. Go look at what grown, mature, established, respectable men are saying about it. Well, a lot of you guys may not respect me. Okay, that's fine. I can appreciate that a lot of you people out there might not respect me. You might not think I'm a good person. I'm not somebody you look up to in any way, therefore you don't care about my opinion. That's fine. You're entitled to that perspective. However, go look at some of the other people, what they have said. Some of the coaches and people out there who maybe don't have the number of people who hate them or talk bad about them that I do. Look at what they're saying about it. And I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about men over the age of 30 who are established professionals that most of you, if you're in the strength world or lifting world or anything else, you probably have a degree of respect for them, at least some. Look at what a bunch of them have said about it. Look at what some of these serious lifters who are in that same situation. Look at some of the guys in my comments and on my wall, and I'm not going to name names, but look at who some of them are. And you're going to go look, and these are very respectable businessmen and family men and lifters. And, you know, at least one guy who's benched 500 in comp, who is, again, family man, is a father, seems to be doing quite well with his life. If you just look at the stuff he has posted in my comments, again, his benched 500 raw in comp. I mean, we're talking about, you know, people most of you would hopefully look up to. What they've said about it. It's not just whether physical stuff happened. It is the actual way that he spoke in the recordings and the manner in which he behaved. All right, that is completely unacceptable. And here's what this comes down to. Everyone wants to focus on the other end. The other end is bad. Believe me, if the other stuff happened, it's bad. It is really bad. And you can't justify that. And that's the point that we come around to. And a lot of you guys out there who take whatever this black-pilled mindset of, oh, all women are terrible and all this. Look, that isn't actually true. That's your own weird prerogative. And I'm not saying there isn't some degree of truth to that today, but because there are some women who lie or do bad things, it doesn't justify you being a terrible person. Now let's come back over to that point. Assuming she wasn't the best person in the world, fair enough. We all have done this. Most men have made the mistake, and women have made the mistake of being with somebody who maybe is not the best person in the world, particularly for them, maybe a downright awful person. Does that justify you being a terrible person? Like, does that justify it? I don't think that it does. It can happen. It does happen. I mean, a toxic relationship can pull you down. It can pull you down. But you have a responsibility to pull yourself out of that and to be the best that you can be in spite of that. Right? You have a responsibility to that. All of us do. And that's the point we're making. It's not saying that, oh, he needs to go to jail because he was the way he behaved in a recording. That's not what people are saying. They're saying that's scumbag behavior and he's not a good person. Okay, that's what they're saying. And that's the point we come over to is, are you making an effort to be a better person? And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if Larry was even a decent person and everyone wants to treat him like a hero, maybe he should have addressed the fact that she did record stuff, or he should have said, oh, it's fake. Right? Okay, fine. If it's fake, that's fine, because there are fake recordings. People do edit stuff. They do make stuff. But it appeared to be real. Okay? It appeared to be real. If it's real, and he's being hammered for that, I think what people need to understand, he is being hammered by the more mature men and coaches and lifters in the community for what they actually heard. All right? People need to understand that. For what they actually heard in there, the verbal abuse. The verbal abuse was recorded and uploaded by her. That's what a bunch of men heard, and that's what a lot of them were shocked over. And I mean a bunch of coaches. And I saw some big YouTubers, some million-plus subscriber YouTubers out there who are older men. I mean, Mike Rashid was a perfect example. And I'm not even saying Mike's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. He does say some good stuff, but I don't even necessarily think Mike's a good guy. But even he stepped in and kind of said, wow, the way this guy was talking was completely out of line. I feel bad for you, whatever else, right? He even expressed that. Do you guys understand that? Mike's also a more mature man. He's an older man with life experiences. You do not talk to your romantic partners that way. You don't. And guys who do that are terrible guys. They're not good guys. And that was the point. If Mike was, or if Larry was actually serious about really defending himself publicly, here's what he should have actually addressed that and said, you know what? That was a while back. I was in a bad place in my life. Maybe she brought out the worst in me. And I take responsibility for the things that I said in that. But I was wrong. Yeah. If he was actually serious about saving his reputation in the eyes of all these other men, because it's not just about me, guys, not just about a few of you kids, it's about what all these coaches, it's about all these athletes who are themselves grown men, what they think about him, not you children. A lot of these grown men, what they think about him in these different social circles. This is going to affect who wants to train with him. This is going to affect who wants to be associated with him. There's a point where a guy needs to swallow his pride and say, I was at a bad point in my life. I made some mistakes. I apologize for the way that I treated her. The things that I said in that recording. That it was said in anger, and I had anger issues, but I'm working on my anger issues. I'm working on being a better person, and I know that it was wrong. Okay? There's a difference between that and acknowledging the wrongdoing of it. Because that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. And I mean, people get slaughtered on the internet for a hell of a lot less. I can assure you there are plenty of people who I have seen pretty much be crucified for stuff not even half as bad as what that was. Okay? Crucified for it. I've seen people apologize for stuff that was half as bad as that and still get crucified for it. Perspective. The problem is that when I watched what he said, it was just well, she's a liar, this is make-believe, this is why. There was no remorse for his side of the behavior. It was only she did bad here. I mean, even a good defense would have been like, well, she was a really toxic person, and me getting involved with her was maybe a mistake and everything wasn't as nice as it seemed on the surface and she brought out the worst in me, but I shouldn't have let that happen. That part's on me. That she brought out the worst in me, but the fact that I let it come out and I let it get to that point, that's on me. I'm trying to work on that and be a better person moving forward. Okay, that would have been a reasonable response. And I think he would have actually convinced at least a lot of people who were on the fence with that. A lot of guys aren't going to accept that at all. I know other dudes who heard it who, again, guys in my age bracket who are coaches and other stuff, I'm not going to name names based on what they said, they wouldn't accept an apology. They're like, I knew he was scum, and this confirmed it. I heard the way that he talked to her in that recording. This guy's a piece of crap. What I thought. Everything that I suspected is true. Because it's one thing when we have a little bit of antics. It's one thing if someone maybe does something it's for show on his Instagram. It's another thing when it's his private life recorded. And people really see how they behave. You know, it was the same thing. I mean, people pulled this same stuff with Piana, and I banned people for that who came and said, well, you know, it's all fake, just like that one thing with Rich and his ex-wife with Sarah. Guys, I actually saw, and I chose not to put it out, but I did talk to different people involved, and because I did make those videos, people did come to me. I did have phone conversations and things with certain people involved in some of that stuff. That wasn't fake, and the whole Rich thing was actually worse. It was worse than people thought it was. Like, there was physical evidence and police reports filed with actual physical evidence. There's a reason Rich left California when he did. That was one of the many reasons. He was going to be in a lot of legal trouble. Now, people say, well, why wouldn't you reveal that? Well, number one, I don't think we need to show all the stuff of abuse all over the internet of people without their permission, even if it's been shared. Number two, there's no point because Rich is gone. There's no point in crushing someone's reputation for wrongdoings, or even people trying to take it to court after they passed. I mean, that's just silly. There's nothing to be gained from that, other than their diehard fans getting mad because you're running a legacy in the mud of a dead person. But the point is, if people tried to spin that the same direction in response to this, even in my comments, they tried to use that, and it's like, but you're wrong. It was actually real, and there was actual physical things that occurred during that recording that you guys didn't see, that some people did get to see, that there were police reports, and that is public record. A person could go get those police reports if they were so inclined and find out that, wow, no, it was bad. It was bad. But the point is what was actually displayed was bad enough. The actual recordings themselves were damning. Even if she made up everything else. And the fact that he doesn't even seem to grasp. I got, just observing his expression of that narcissistic behavior of, he doesn't even seem to think, I don't think he thinks that any of that was even wrong on his part. Okay? I don't think that he thinks it was even wrong. And that's going to be a problem moving forward in the new relationship. But we'll be hearing from her in a year or two. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.